the Twins are missing or whatever, and they brought him up. But like at this point, like this guy doesn't need really more minor league innings. So I don't know. Like to me, and maybe it's just a camp guy they bring in to throw some innings in camp and see what you get from him. But I don't know, man.
Let's see his game log. Who did he pitch against
in the majors? He pitched against.
Did he ever pitch against?
He pitched against the Royals,
the Rangers,
Orioles, the Royals, and the White Sox this past year. He actually started a game against the good old Orioles on July 5th. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk. Like you said, not many strikeouts. But the guy must have some kind of... It's either deceiving, maybe he's got some movement on these pitches, but, I mean, to have success and a couple starts like that in your first couple major league appearances with no strikeouts, I mean, that's pretty...
Yeah.
Well, there must be
I'll
something
tell you
going
what,
on.
and this was something that crossed my mind, and I actually did tweet it. I was like, how about that launch angle, though? And the reason for that, a few years ago, back in the day, I mean, you kind of looked at these guys that are really, really tall and are like, I mean, you just salivated. This is great. I mean, think of that plane. Batters don't see this plane. Batters don't see, the ball coming at you in this way that, it's going to be deadly. But it's almost, it's like it's changed. It's different now, with the whole launch angle, the way pitchers are pitching and such, and what are batters looking for? Like, batters are looking for that ball to come down, into the strike zone, down low. That way they can hit the ball up in the air and go out. And that kind of worries me. And I'll say this to the fact that, and most people watch the World Series, and they talked about this in there, but like with Craig Kimbrell, like that's one thing he worked on, his arm slot. And when he's throwing the fastball, throwing up and high now, that way it's coming up more flat, and people aren't getting a good wood on it and hitting it out, hitting it hard. And it's like with him, at 6'10", that ball's probably coming down. And like you said, this guy has a home run problem. Well, the way hitters are hitting this, this generation this way now, I almost see it like not being beneficial to have these really, really tall pitchers like that. Like your Chris Youngs back in the day.
Right.
I mean, Randy Johnson's just Randy Johnson. But, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem as if being this tall pitcher with that plane is as beneficial as it may once had been. So, that's just my take on it.
Yeah.
So I'm not really looking too much into this, and I hope he's not on the team, because we need to improve elsewhere.
His major league debut 2017 was against the Indians. 6.1 innings, 2 runs, 2 hits, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks. I mean, then he got bombed last year to the Royals in his second start. I mean, it's just he's got major league starts, 6 innings, I guess a couple quality starts, but I just have a feeling that the Pirates. The other thing, so he did pitch out of the bullpen a couple games for the Twins last year too. So I have a feeling like maybe the Pirates see him as one of these, like, the middle guys where they can go 2-3 innings, and not necessarily start, but could be one of the guys that come in and pitch a couple innings, or
the opener,
pitch after an opener, or be an opener. Right, exactly. So who knows? I don't know. They're acquiring some interesting, like you said, this is kind of out of their norm as far as the profile of a pitcher that they acquire to get in there and work with Searage. Usually it's a high strikeout control, problem guy, but this really isn't Slegers' deal there. So we shall see.
And there's that.
And there's Slegers, yeah. And they to DFA, they to fit him on the 40-man, they DFA'd Dario as I can't say it. Forget it. Dario.
Crap, I had a draw for that.
The Sondergrad?
No, shit, I don't know where it's at. Oh, here it is. What's his name, Ryan?
First, Mr. Samir
Agrazol.
Naga. Not going to work here.
Not going to work here anyway, huh?
I figured that was the one you're playing. But as far as, like, we talked about this early in the offseason, and when you're looking at the 40-man roster, there isn't very many other, like, spots where you could look at to, like, lose people. Now, obviously, you could just cut Slegers again. Ruckus might be one.
It goes with what we were saying, like, last week about this. I mean, it's just like the collection of mediocre players this team has. It's like no one you were looking at is like, oh, he sucks, get him out of here. Everyone has some talent. It's just we don't have like top end talent,
Right.
that elite type of talent. So, when you go and trade Luplo and Moroff and such, it's like, there's some talent on this club.
Yeah,
but
because they had to add Tucker and Martin to protect him from the 40-man. Pablo Reyes is on here. The infielders: Bell, Frazier, Gonzalez, Gung, Kramer, Moran, Newman, Ozuna, and Tucker. Like, they're not going anywhere.
Right.
Cervelli, Diaz, Stallings. Now, Stallings is out of options, so you'd have to DFA him.
That's right. That's who we were talking about,
but
Stallings.
Even if you DFA him, like you're still going to want a third catcher on the 40-man. So, like, somebody would have to take that spot, even if he doesn't clear his waivers. And then you look at pitchers. I mean, I guess, like I said, Nevarakis, Jesus Lirianzo is another one. But besides that, I mean, cool. Kingham, Keller, Kella, Holmes, Feliz, Luis Escobar, Crick, Birdie. Nick Birdie's still hanging around. Brubaker, Brault, and Archer.
Yeah, and he's got to stay on.
So, now, Chad Kuhl being on the 60-man DL, or the 60-day DL, he is not credited on the 40-man, I believe.
Yeah, like that will open up, but they can't put him on yet, right?
Yeah, I don't know when the date is for that.
When does that start?
I don't know.
That's a good question. Because, yeah, I mean, eventually he's obviously going to be put on the 60 days, so that will open up a spot. But
or was he already put on?
I guess, is that when all the arbitration ends? Is that when they can officially do it?
I don't know. I think they still, wouldn't they put him on the 60-day DL last year?
Yeah, they did, but then you have to remove them.
Oh, yeah.
Like everyone gets, taken off.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. Because, he had Tommy John surgery on September 19th.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. And speaking of Santana's another one.
That will open up a spot.
Santana will open up another spot.
Yeah,
he'll be on
right.
the 60-day. So we got a couple spots here. We're all right.
There you go.
Everything's good. All right.
So is that a problem? Is that why Manny hasn't signed yet?
We don't have a spot.
He's just waiting for all the inner works to just work themselves out, right?
maybe that's it.
There you go. Such a nice guy. I don't understand why people don't like him.
All right, let's move on. So we spent I think it was last week, talking about Yasmani Grandal and how you said they should sign him to a 1-year deal, and I said, well, he's going to get like a 3 or 4 year deal, and yep, he signs with a 1-year deal with the Milwaukee Brewers. Fantastic.
Of course. I can't believe that David Stearns listens to our podcast. And we just enlightened him with this great idea.
Right.
Oh, man, Ryan, I'm telling you, that hit home so hard for me. Because, like I said, like that was my whole mindset. And I still say it to be true. It's not coming from the middle infield. It's not coming from the shortstop position. We're not getting all these wins. Got to be creative. Let's go and get him on a 1-year deal or such. And it was funny because then I was talking to Evil Neal about it a few nights after. It was the night before, literally. The night before that Milwaukee did it. I was talking to him about the 1-year deal, and he was kind of saying the same. Like, I mean, the catching market's horrible right now, and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, but next year it's even worse. And there's not that many clubs out there that really maybe A, need that catcher, B, going to spend all that money, long term. And then, very next night, 1-year deal, and it's within our division, the Milwaukee Brewers. I'm like, are you for real? Like, seriously, not only does this happen, but it happens and it goes to the Brewers. Great.
Yeah, what did he get? 19.25 or something?
18.25. Just barely over the qualifying offer.
I mean, this free, it's wild, man. I mean, there's so many people where...
And then the Dodgers go and trade for Russell Martin.
Yeah, so I don't get it. I don't get that on their end. I mean, obviously Grandal is a much better player at this point than Russell Martin's been. So... why now? And Grandal kind of screwed himself because the Mets had I think a 4-year offer out to him.
They say a 4. Shit, was it 4 or 5? It was $60 million though.
Yeah, so I think it was a 4 year. So he turned that down, thinking he's going to get something better. I'm guessing, or maybe he just hates New York. I don't know. And he ends up signing with the Brewers for the 1-year deal. So it's like, well, and then, so I don't know what the Dodgers were thinking, because then it's bizarre, man. I'm sure these teams are, like you said, I'm sure the Dodgers thought he was going to get, a long-term deal and get paid. And here now they're scrambling to go trade for Martin when Grandal's out there. But like that's the thing. Like you were absolutely correct last weekend to say that we're seeing a lot of these 1-year deals, which we're going to mention another one like Brian Dozier, 1-year deals around baseball because free agency teams are so down on these free agents. Like this is the opportunity for small market teams, I think, wake up and sneak in on some of these guys and sign them to these 1-year deals. And yeah, you might pay a little more up front, but it's a 1-year deal. Like you're not crippling your franchise down the road by signing, somebody to a 6-year deal. And I don't know, man. I'd be calling on everybody at this point. Who knows what these guys offers are getting? It wouldn't even shock me if Harper signed for a 1-year deal tomorrow. The way this is going, because everybody was saying Grandal was getting a 4-year deal, 4 or 5-year deal. Effectively, Wild was saying it. And here we see it again, 1-year deal.
You would think it, especially because there were teams that needed
got a 1-year, $23 million to the Braves, which I guaranteed he'd get like at least a 2-year deal.
But you know what? I can see him more. I mean, he is out coming off of an injury-filled season, where teams might be more hesitant to offer him a long term. So,
I still would have given him a 2-year deal.
But still, think about this: Donaldson got 23, right? 23 million.
23
opposed to
for 1
Grandal's.
year.
Yeah, Grandal got 18.25. So I'm just saying, like Grandal is coming off a fantastic career so far, still a solid season, and he couldn't even get what your boy just got, Donaldson in Atlanta, off the season he had. You know what I mean?
He had a 4-year deal out there, but
so it might have been actually think about it. It might have been smart for Donaldson to sign it early, because he probably maybe would have ended up with a 1-year deal, and it would have been for $15 million somewhere else.
I just don't.
And that's why I think about Kutch too. Honestly, I think Kutch has so far gotten the best deal.
Yeah,
he signed pretty quickly, pretty early, and I know it's winter meetings, but so in this offseason, that's early as hell. But think about the money he got. I think he's pretty smart in that.
Grandal's been an above-average hitter every year of his career.
Yeah.
Then the pitch framing and the defense puts him way up.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, there were teams that needed catching this season, and the way that the Marlins are asking for, with Real Muto, it seemed like, it was a no-brainer. Grandal is going to pay. He's the best catcher. Teams need him. Teams have money because they haven't been spending. He's going to get paid. And look, 1 year, $18.25 million deal. So the thing is about going back to Russell Martin, that shocked the hell out of me. Now, the Blue Jays are paying for most of his contract. So essentially the Dodgers are paying, I think, $4 million for him. Gave up to wild card prospects, nothing super important. So the thing that it would make sense for me is if they're still on Real Muto, which it says they are, and coming from report, the Dodgers may be the most motivated to land Real Muto. But, like if they feel that they're right there at the finish line for Real Muto, and they go and trade for Real Muto, and they have Russell Martin as, more or less their backup catcher, that makes sense to me. That makes sense. I'm cool with that. But if you're going to this season with Martin,
so bad this year.
I know, but as a backup catcher,
and he's gonna be 36, had a 663 OPS.
But as a backup catcher, I mean, we had Chris Stewart. So as Russell Martin as a backup catcher, I'm cool with. But the thing is, if they don't get Real Muto and they're rolling with Austin Barnes and Russell Martin, and now I'm like, why did you not just get Rick Grandal? Why would the Dodgers just not scoop him up for one more year?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, like, are they that in love with Austin Barnes? I mean, it's
no, God no.
But that's
can't
like
right.
Grandal is like really good. Like, I just can't believe they like let him go. And I don't know, man. It's just everything is like upside down. And did you see Arrieta's tweet in free agency?
And it's true.
And he's like, "Oh, you're next." It's like, well, sign a better. I hate Arrieta. Sign a better CBA than next time.
CPA.
Back off. CPA.
Might need to sign a better one of those too.
Yeah.
I mean, you are right though. I mean, baseball to me is starting to be in a world of hurt, and allude to maybe a conversation here shortly. That's why Kyler Murray might be going to football. Because, I don't know, man. I mean, we talk about teams are getting smarter, but teams being smarter is essentially hurting a lot of these players. It really is. And people won't talk about, you guys are going to cry because you're not making $300 million. You're only making $250, or this guy's only making $10 million, when he wants $20. Well, I get it. Like, they are super rich. They're going to have more money than we are in our lifetimes. But in the same sense, there's only so many of them that can do what they're doing at their job. Like there's 30 teams that have 25